to school, in your any grade of school or university, you sit an examination. So teacher has given you certain questions, and then he has certain standards in his mind or in his written text or whatever he has taught you in whole the year, that if a student will write down this kind of answer, I will give him this kind of marking and this kind of numbers for that particular thing. Basically, this is called standard or guidelines. So guideline gives you the direction to any kind of certification, including ISO, including HACCP, including organic or halal. Basically, these are the standards. The certifications. These 3, 4 I have mentioned. There are many others also, but let's talk about only these 3, 4. So these 3, 4 are major known issues of certification around the world. So today we are talking about halal. So there are in the world they have made halal standard as well. When we are talking about who has made halal standard, major countries who has made standards. Like if I say I'm living in Japan and I also have my own organization standard. Sometimes people say in America they also have certain standards. Some people say in Italy, in France, in Germany, in England, everybody has standards. But who will really recognize those kind of standards, or why these standards, or which country standards we have to follow? Those countries who are the buyer country. Why? Because they make a certain level of standard. That we are Muslim country, we are majority Muslim country, we are politically strong Muslim country, we are economically strong Muslim country. So now you have to listen my thoughts or my vision or my way of thinking about in this, as we are talking about halal today. So halal matters. There are certain countries, there are certain world standards which called World Trade Organization, WTO. When they make a business standards, that each country will accept their products of import and export. But when it comes to the halal matters, then Muslim countries, they have some authority that, okay, we will accept your blah blah products, but if that product will be halal, then we will accept that. And if that product is not halal, then we will not accept it. So this kind of standards also helps countries to make some political moves or political strength in them. And basically, if you ask me honestly, that these 4 or 5 countries which I have mentioned, they are the buyer countries. They are bigger number of people, mean power to buy countries. So if these 5 countries sit together and make one combined standard, that okay, let's do it, let's make one standard and every world have to follow. In that case, when Australia says, sorry, I don't want to follow your standard, okay, Australia, we don't buy your product. When Australia product you will not buy, then they will change their standard according to what you want them to change. But currently, what is happening is that these 5 major countries in the world, Malaysia, Indonesia, UAE, Turkey, Pakistan, these countries have make certain standards, but each of them say my standard is the best. Malaysia says we are the senior most. Like if I show you, CIMIC, I will talk later. Like in sorry, like if you go to Malaysia, Malaysia will say, oh, I have the maximum experience in making halal standards. So you have to listen me because I'm the leader in the halal standards. And if you go to Indonesia, Indonesia says, oh, look, our number of population is so big and we have the power to buy. I mean, we have money also to buy your product. So, and we have this type of standard, you have to follow our standards. And then UAE come in the middle and they say, oh, no, you Indonesia, Malaysia, you don't know actually the real buying power is with us. So we are the one who make standards. You please listen to our standards. And you know that Turkey and Pakistan nowadays political making a big gang in the world. The world is changing from previously from American bloc now toward Russian bloc, toward China bloc. So within this American China bloc, the Muslims are shifting their what we call favors to which one side. So Turkey and Pakistan is in that group, and then they introduced their own standards. Pakistan has said we are Hanafi. Turkey say we are Hanafi. We have to make our own standards. And then some of the standards they say, okay, we have to what do you call we have same standard, but Turkey is more like a stronger power than Pakistan. So please listen, Turkey. They say no. UAE stand up and say we make IHAF a half kind of organization which will recognize other standards that this is okay or not okay. When Malaysia listen that UAE has made a half, then Malaysia says no, a half is also maybe good, but our organization they make another similar type of a half kind of organization. This kind of polling is going on everywhere. So me being a very simple Muslim, I have studied all these standards from Malaysia, Indonesia, UAE, Turkey, Pakistan, and then I come to one conclusion that in all standards, what are the differences? How which country is weak or which country is strong, and what kind of major differences they got it. And this CIMIC organization is actually not a country, but they are major organizations run by what do you call the Muslim organization? I really forgot. The Muslim organization, they say we are run by 56 countries. So we will make standards and all Muslim countries will listen our standards. But then Malaysia says, sorry, we don't accept your leadership. You are not the leader. We are the most experienced one. That is why you have to listen us. So this CIMIC has started their life since long time. But unfortunately, till now, there is no one single standard they were able to make. Even UAE cannot, UAE, which is very good friend of CIMIC and sponsor of CIMIC, you can say that, but still UAE and CIMIC not come in one group that let's do it together kind of thing. So how they will convince Malaysia or other countries that please listen my thought also. Another issue comes when it comes to the religious thoughts, a religious way of thinking, school of thought. The Malaysia has Shafi school of thought. Indonesia has Shafi school of thought. Arabs are divided into Maliki and Shafi, and Turkey is Hanafi. Pakistan is Hanafi. So this is they bring their major source of knowledge from these ulama, these ustada, these fuqaha in their way of thinking. But this is the place where they have the chance to play, because when it comes to the Al-Quran, they cannot change much. When it comes to the Sunnah, they cannot change very much. But then when it comes to this bottom school of thoughts, then they have like Shafi'i say something different for certain standards, and Hanafi say something different for certain standards. So which one is which one? So that Hanafi, they say our standards are the best. And the countries which is following Shafi, they say our standards are the best. So this tug of war is keep on going on within these countries. Needs of new regulations means fatwa, which is the basic standards of differences of halal standards among different countries or among different way of thinking people. So what are the basic needs? Why it really started in the first hand that we need to have, first of all, in 1950s and 60s, this halal certification came in this world. In the beginning, not many people were interested, not many countries were interested. Only Malaysia, Indonesia, a little bit going side by side, and they keep on making new standards and new things, new standards, new things. And then when new technology come, with the new technology, new questions arise. Like this particular thing is halal or not halal. So then this machinery is halal or not halal. This method of slaughtering animal is halal or not halal. And then the number of products are increasing. A lot of number of products are increasing, like in the whole world, like millions of products are going on and millions of ingredients are there. So this new era also bring new challenges. And then new standards, as I just mentioned to you, that just 5 years before UAE standard were not there, but today GSO standard is there. 10 years before there is no CIMIC standards were not there. So then CIMIC also jump in. Saudi Arabia recently realized that, wow, this is a good earning money. So let's start the halal standard. So recently, Saudi Arabia also jump in the halal standards. So this kind of the new standards also come, new countries also jump in the halal. So needs of making one halal regulation is very important. One halal standard is very important, but unfortunately, the countries also not realizing, and we, the halal certification bodies, which is about 300 to 500 in the whole world, we also not really concentrating that let's help each other and make one standard. So what are the differences among each country? This, what I mentioned on this new technology, basically this new technology pose a lot of challenges to the halal certifications. So first of all, stunning comes. When what is the need? First of all, what is stunning? Stunning is to slaughter big animals like a cow, which is 1,000 kilogram, 1,200 kilogram. If you want to make that cow fall down and you can slaughter them from very easily, it's almost impossible with this big animals. So then need of the stunning comes. When you go to the non-Muslim countries, they do the type of stunning which make a hole here and it goes to the brain. When Muslim people usually do not do any kind of research, you know that, right? So mostly Muslim people trust the research of non-Muslims. So we only like take the research of Australians, take the research of British, take the research of Americans, combine it, and somewhat we say this is our research. But actually, I have studied that on the stunning matters, the best research coming from only from Australia. Malaysians are working with the Australians, but then the when it comes to the budget issues, when it comes to the animal welfare issues, then Australia, as they have a lot of big animals are there, so they are the leading country. So they are the making rules and regulation, including halal, the stunning methods and stunning way of thinking. So there are three, four type of animals. One is chicken or birds. Second is a goat or sheep, and the third is a cow or buffalo. So each country, which I just mentioned above, 5, 6 different countries are there. In these 5, 6 different countries, when they are coming to stunning place, then they are everybody is have different opinion, including Malaysia, Indonesia. They have one opinion, but they differ from UAE opinion. UAE says blah blah stunning is okay, which Malaysia, Indonesia says, oh no, this is not okay. When UAE says some standards are okay on this particular topic of stunning, then the other countries oppose that. No, it's not okay. So there are certain things which CIMIC says, which supposed to be the kind of standard they should make, which is accepted by everyone. But then when CIMIC says this kind of stunning is allowed, then Malaysia and Indonesia oppose that. No, this is not allowed. Then it comes to the mechanical slaughtering also. Mechanical slaughtering mean there is a big machine you put in that, and there is different type of method of slaughtering. So then countries are divided, every country, and these stunning are mechanical slaughtering. In stunning, for example, in when you talk about birds, chickens, some people says, like some people in some countries says, Indonesia, Malaysia, the water bath stunning is okay for chickens. But UAE says, no, for chicken is a small animal, you don't have any issue to slaughter it nicely. So there is nothing, any kind of stunning is allowed. Then it comes to the Pakistan, and Pakistan, because country is very much controlled by Muslim population and Muslim government, including the constitution is very much Islamic. So they have the full control on this stunning method and stunning procedure and stunning standards. So this is in Pakistani standards, there is no stunning is allowed, 100% no stunning. So if you bring the 100% no stunning to Japan or Europe or America or Australia, New Zealand, which is really major producer of meat from each animal, then nobody's agree with the Pakistani way of thinking of no stunning of particularly the big animals. Well, anyway, this is running in Pakistan and it will be running only my wish, my hope as a being Pakistani also, that one day Pakistan can produce like millions and billions of cows, which can they send the meat to all over the world, and the quality meat which is accepted by all over the world. Then this meaning of no stunning will be effective, because Australia will feel the threat to them, that if Pakistan is winning with no stunning, then Australian with stunning will be low sales. So then they will maybe stop the stunning. But currently, because non-Muslim countries are leading, so that is why the stunning is not controlled by Muslim countries, but it is controlled by non-Muslim countries. So this is one of the major topic which is people are not agreed, or people are agreed to have stunning, to not have stunning, to have mechanical stunning, to have electric stunning, to have water bath stunning. So there are so many different type of things are coming. Then it comes to the colorants of insects. Now, Hanafi says colors of insects are not allowed, while Shafi says it's okay, it is allowed. So this way, people or the countries are divided in different opinions. Then use of alcohol comes like as I mentioned to you, the real clear instructions of Islam, or even the fiqh. Let's take example of Shafi. That in Shafi, Indonesia and Malaysia are following both, following the Shafi way of thinking, school of thought. But when it comes to the percentage of alcohol, Malaysia says 1% or less natural alcohol in the end product is allowed, 0.5% or less in the added alcohol is allowed. But when it goes to Indonesia, which has same school of thought, they want to make their uniqueness. So they say, no, no, no. You can produce the alcohol on the mid product, but when it comes to the end product, alcohol must be 0.0%. Now, I really don't understand from where they have got this way of thinking, because as I mentioned to you, that alcohol itself is a chemical, and this chemical by fatwa is tahir, not najis. When it is tahir, not najis, that means that everybody should accept it certain percentage of in the end product. But unfortunately, people are divided very much in this. Now, vinegar is another issue which is coming from wine. We call it wine vinegar. Some people says the wine vinegar is halal. Some other country says no. Sorry, when it coming from word wine, it is never be halal. The source of uh, vinegar is not halal, so it is not halal. So if the source, when you first product you start, you say, okay, I'm going to make vinegar, and the end product will also be vinegar. On the half process way, some alcohol production happen, but that alcohol production, you are not calling that as a vinegar, but you are not calling it as a wine, but you are just calling it as a processing, producing alcohol end product. It will be vinegar, and there is no alcohol in that, then it will be halal. And there are certain companies, certain countries like Japan kind of countries, their way of procedure making vinegar is that sometimes they put the sake. Sake is another type of drinking type of alcohol. So they add from wine industry. So this kind of vinegar is halal or not halal. So again, the countries are divided in this opinion. So as you see, this technology is actually creating trouble, and the Muslim jeopardism, mean Muslim fiqh, is not handling it properly. So they are divided by fiqh, they are divided by their own leadership, they are divided by their pride. So everybody is playing their own way of thinking on the religion, which is, in my opinion, they should be very much be careful when they're coming to interfere in divine laws and regulations of different halal matters. Now, new era, when it comes to the new era, then a lot of processed foods are coming every day. And processed foods like cheese was there in the past in the old era. But in the old era, they make it very simple procedure. They take enough time to make cheese. But lately, they want to make a commercial way of making cheese, so they want to make it faster. When they want to make it faster, they put an enzyme in that. That enzyme is sometimes it's coming from non-halal source, sometimes it's coming from halal source. So we are confused which one is coming from halal source, which one is coming from not halal source. So we as a Muslim are not a very great researcher on the food matters. So we just listen others and we try to follow that. But while others, they have no issue about pig or pig related matters. So they use the things which later in come big challenges for Muslim halal industry and Muslim halal certification industry, you can call it. Then the use of cosmetics, like if you go back in 20, 30, 40 years, you will see that cosmetics were very few, like ladies were using only lipsticks or hand creams, very few, very, very little quantity or type of things they were using. But when this our modern era comes and cosmetic industry is really producing thousands of varieties of hand creams and shampoos and lipsticks and face creams and wrinkle cream and blah blah things. So then in that we see that certain cosmetic industries like they use placenta. When they use placenta, some Muslim says placenta from horse is halal and some says no, it is not halal. So ingredients of cosmetics is another big issue, that how the countries will handle this situation. Now that we in the whole world, honestly speaking, we are living in a global village. What do I mean by global village? That Malaysia has produced some product, which is ingredients actually. They export to Japan, and then Japan makes some certain other ingredients of, let's say, cosmetic ingredients, and then they send it to China. And China, using the Japanese ingredients, they make certain another ingredients of cosmetics, and then they send it to Pakistan. So really, there is no passport. There is no nationality of these ingredients are there. So they keep on moving from one country to another, and which place to another place is going on the halfway. The Japanese people or the Chinese people, they really have no issue of using the non-halal things, and they are not very much keen to get halal certification. Also, lately they understand, Chinese people understand this, so they are getting halal. But then there is some fake halals are also coming. So really, these are the big issues which our Muslim nations, like 56 countries of OIC, they are not handling it properly. So my issue is that all of you youngsters who are listening my talk today, when you have a chance, please do a lot of research and bring proper data and feed it to the
Participants, maybe the speaker is having some sort of internet issues. He'll be joining us soon. Please wait for a while.
Can you hear me? Please update me.
Yes, sir, your voice is audible.
Sorry. What happened? I really have no idea, but it was disconnected. Okay, I was on the new product development. So there is a lot of new products are coming. As I was mentioning to you, there is one product which is coming from alcohol industry. But then, if we do not use this product, this the all the ingredients they will throw it. So if we strain it and make it a vinegar kind of thing, that vinegar is very good for high blood pressure, for some health supplements kind of reason. So that product is halal or not halal. Now it's a big challenge for us. Until now, I myself is a very highly educated in a halal industry, but I don't know this is halal or not halal. Then I asked Malaysian teachers, is it halal? They also don't know what is halal. So this is a new product developments are coming around the world. We, the Muslim scientists and religious ustad, we have to update our knowledge that we should really match with the whole world. So standards are based on this kind of things which make us together and separate from others. And new standards and new countries. When I mention this new countries, like if you see the history, Malaysia was there in the halal certification in 1974. But if you see Saudi Arabia, they just very recently started and not yet really they developed their system. Uh, but they want to declare the whole world that we are leading Muslim country who has the buying power. So that is why you have to listen our standards. Then Indonesia previously was run by Majelis Ulama Islam Indonesia. It was a non-profit organization. When they realized there is a certain sort of corruption in this system, then they thought in 2014, new president come, they make a new rule, they make a new department under government, which is called BPJPH, that this government department will make a new rules of halal matters, and they will deal with the whole world accordingly. So what BPJPH has done is that they make halal to a different level, a very, very difficult level. For example, they want to certify these kind of cups. They want to certify glasses. They want to certify the clothes. They want to certify the pharmaceuticals, life-saving drugs. They want to certify. So it's really become too complicated and too difficult that how we are going to handle this. We should, we the Muslims should come with a really, if we want to take a lead, definitely please take a lead like this. Five major countries I have mentioned to you. Six is a CIMIC one, which is not a country but a leading OIC organization who is making rules regulation. So these countries, if they sit together, then what will happen is that some are Shafi, some are Maliki, some are Hanbali, some are even Jafari, which is Iran, a big country, Muslim country, run by a Shia way of thinking or Jafari way of thinking. So you should involve them also. Why? Because they are the Muslim country from looking from non-Muslim point of view, and they are also making certain standards for their country, and they are also buying product from Japan, from America, from China, from here and there. So if these standards which we are going to make the similar way as I mentioned to you, uh, Darul Ifta in Jeddah, if they sit together, these countries, and they when they start making standard together, you will see that 90% of the standards are one standard. The very few points which I have mentioned to you, percentage of alcohol or stunning way of stunning or the colorants from uh, insects, very like 4 or 5 points are different. So they can come to that major rules regulation are like this, but remaining these 5 points you will handle. If you want to export the products to Pakistan or Turkey, it will go with a Hanafi way of thinking, and blah blah standards are Hanafi way of thinking. If you want to export to Iran, this is a Jafari way of thinking. If you want to export to Indonesia and Malaysia, this is the way of thinking. So this way, the standards can be together. If you go to each country, which I have done actually, I went to Malaysia separately, Indonesia, UAE. So each country, if you listen them, they are trying to convince you that their standards are the only best standards. Otherwise, everybody is not good standard. Like Pakistan, very recently they come in the, forgive me if this, my year is wrong in 2018 or 17 or 19. I'm confusing with the Pakistan standard. But Pakistan really very recently entered in this standard. Yes, you have made the standard, but is this standard is recognized by Australia, by America, by England, by France, by Germany, by even by Malaysia, even by Indonesia, by Singapore? Until now, unfortunately, not. So what you have to do is to work hard to make your standards being recognized by the whole world. That look, we have make standards and we have make standard which is accepted by all over the world. So very few issues which I mentioned, they have to solve these standards, and I hope that time will come very soon. Then they will make these standards. It is very fast I went through, but for me, these differences are the major issues for me. I have studied as a third party sitting outside, like we sitting in Japan. Our wish is that what are the products we certify? Malaysia also buy, Indonesia also buy, UAE also buy, Pakistan also buy. But when we bring this, we let's say I certify soy sauce, and I certify according to Malaysian standard of alcohol, which is end product 0.5% or less. You bring to UAE, they make a major issue that product coming from Japan and it is having 0.5% or less alcohol.